Hi everybody, I just wanted to share a quick video showing you how I made my beads to go on the little accordion tag journal that I'm going to be using for the Art by Marlene Advent calendar this year. Goodness, that was a mouthful. So on eBay and Etsy, you can get these bead rolling tools. They are a little bit like the tools you can get for quilling, but the place to slot your paper in is a little bit wider. And you can make your own paper beads. So this is some collage paper from Art by Marlene, and I've just cut it. As you can see, that piece that's white face up, it's like a graduated piece of paper, so thicker at one end, thinner at the other, and then you just roll it onto your tool and glue your end down, and then once it's stuck really well, you can then slide it off the tool. So the more paper you use, the thicker your bead will be. The more you taper your bead, you can play with the shape of your beads that you make. So when I've made these in the past, I've made them with a mixed media paper, and you get beautiful thick chunky beads. So this paper's a bit finer. If you wanted your bead to be a lot bigger, you'd need to roll more pieces of the paper together. And because it's quite thin, I'm just having to fold over the end a few times just so that it will anchor into the little space in the tool so that I can get it rolling nicely. So the first few that I made were nice and small. They were very slim beads. Then, of course, I wanted to make some bigger ones, so that involved cutting more pieces of paper and sticking them together, and ideally making sure that they tapered really nicely as well. So you start off with the first end that you roll into your tool, really nice and fat, and then you gradually taper down to a point at the end. So you can see those two little beads are quite small, but aren't they cute? And using collage paper as well is a great way to make nice colourful beads. I've made beautiful rainbow ones, which I've often added to my journals as well. So now I'm just going to I'm going to stop talking and just let you kind of watch this bit. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, but you can see here I've cut one piece of paper. And there I'm just going to roughly, sorry about my head, I don't actually often do measuring with a ruler. I just kind of eyeball things and see whether it's roughly going to work. Yes, and there it was. And then I'm just making sure that there's a bit of a taper on that paper. Gosh, that rhymes, that's funny. And I'm going to cut those and then glue them together. So this next bead that I make is going to be a little bit bigger than the first one because I'm adding extra paper in. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to watch, and then I will come back again in a bit. Okay, so you can see I've made a few beads, and it just kind of really clearly demonstrates the more paper you use, the thicker, the chunkier your beads will be. And the thicker your paper, the chunkier they will get also. So if you can get your hands on one of these tools, I actually got mine off Etsy. You can just have a bit of a play with making lots and lots of beads. Be warned though, it is a little bit addictive. So now I'm going to grab my tag accordion, here it is, and I am going to fasten these beads to the front. I like to add little embellishments, so you can see I've already added the some of the ribbon. This is recycled sari ribbon that's going in the top of my tags. I'm now going to put these beads on the front, and they coordinate because that's the kind of feel that I'm going for on the front here. I've got this twine, which is like a red and white twisted string. I've had it for years in my ribbon box, and I just thought, do you know what, that's going to work. I'm going to use that. I'm going to cut a couple of lengths and then thread it through the hole in the middle. So the easiest way I find to thread a thread like this that's quite chunky through is to kind of give it a bit of a helping hand. So I tend to grab my my tweezers and just give it a little helpful poke along the way, because sometimes it will get kind of stuck on a bit of paper in the middle. So just being very gentle and just kind of easing it through like that. And sometimes it works and sometimes I end up pulling it out with my tweezers. Anyway, knotting the end, obviously. And then I'm going to just do the same on the other end. I'm going to cut a length off, making sure that the knot is big enough that the bead isn't going to fall off the end. Chop the end off. And then just kind of work out, I'm threading that through the first piece of ribbon on my cover, and I'm just going to roughly work out how long I want that to be. So then just going to follow that process all the way through, threading all the beads on. Okay, so I've got all my beads on. Now I want to just kind of stop them all rolling around and falling off. So I'm just going to wind this string around a couple of times, just create like a little collar at the top. I don't really know a technical way to do this. I think I kind of made this up as I went along, but I've wrapped it around a couple of times, left it a bit loose, and then threaded the thread back through the loops that I've just made. And it did seem to work quite well, actually. So a bit faffy, but it was quite a good way to create that kind of binding that's going to hold those beads in place. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. Yeah, and just pull it tight. Look at that. Anyone would think I knew what I was doing there, but absolutely not, no. And then just to be sure, I'm just going to add a couple more knots on there as well. Okay, so that's looking quite nice, and I love how those are dangling down on that front of my book as well. Okay, so here it is finished off. I've just popped another little bow on the front because you can't have too much ribbon, can you? But that's my book ready to go. The only other thing that I'm going to do is add a fastening round, which is just going to be a bit of ribbon to wind around to help it stay closed, because it's obviously going to get quite chunky as we get going. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you again soon.